today. I mean, you were down 18 points in the third quarter, and then you're able to come back.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when you shoot 5 for 31 from 3-point range, do you take any extra positives out of this, that you get leaving some chances on the board, that basically one of the best teams in the league, that you can take something positive away from that?
The best team in the league. The best team. The best team. Keep that narrative all year. I hear y'all. They're the best team in the league. Keep that shit. All right. I ain't gonna forget it. I got it on my phone.
I mean, to James' point though, down 18 in the third, you're able to cut the lead to 4 in the fourth. What positive are you able to take away from that?
I just see the game as it is what it is. They played well in the second quarter. We couldn't get any rhythm, and we breathed on them too much. Like I said, breathe. We breath. I
think it's breathed. Is it?
We breathed on them too much, and that was just a little bit, too physical. So gotta fix that.
Are you happy with the looks that your team got today?
Yeah, I think we got good looks. I think we'll be better.
And then scored 40 in the paint. Do you feel like your team could have done a better job looking inside? Late?
No, I thought we missed. We actually had some layups that we just missed. We shot 23 for 50. I want to say from 2, and some of those were layups that we like just chippy bunnies, But they had some too that they missed. So.
Sorry, last one for me. How much of today's poor shooting performance do you attribute to kind of the relentlessness from the aces on defense and maybe taking you out of your game at all?
Yeah, they're one of the best defensive teams I've ever seen. So it was tough for us. Yeah.
Coach, as Rebecca's game continues to grow every single day, can you kind of just talk about what you've been seeing from her first day joining the Sky to now?
I think she's good. I think she has to, earn some respect. I think people are going to start realizing that she's a player. I think she's surprising some people, and I just feel like, so she makes great plays, but sometimes they don't get appreciated, and I think her being a rookie and nobody knowing who she is and not being a big NCAA star kind of hurts her a little bit in certain moments in the game, and I think it'll come around. It'll come around. She just stays at it. She has a level head on her, and she has her teammates behind her, and we just have to keep on making smarter plays.
Coach, in the third quarter when you went with the bench, how were you able to leverage them, both in the getting back in the game and outside of just an energy change? What specifically did they bring that kind of put Vegas back on their heels a bit?
It's more than just energy. I think it's a sense of urgency. I felt like if we would have started that way in the first half, I think we were going back and forth in the first quarter trying to get a feel for the game, and but during that time we kind of lost our sense of urgency, and we have to have that. Like it's just not mano a mano. It's a collective urgency that we have to have that we didn't have earlier in the game. And the bench kind of gave that to us, and it was kind of infectious, and they gave it to the second unit, the first unit, and after it was just too late to make a run, and the kind of, a sense of urgency, because it leads to both ways. It leads to you missing layups. It leads to you getting your balls deflected. If you have a sense of urgency, you're in every play mentally, which leads to you being in every play physically, and we weren't. And once we figure that out, then I think we'll be a different team. But we have to figure that out.
Hi, Coach. Everyone knows, I think, Candace's role on this team as a leader, but one thing I've observed all game is she was always off the bench first, coaching the players up. Even in some of the weakest moments there, specifically when you guys were down 18. Was there anything different about that sequence or the message she told the team when you guys were down that much at that point and really started to fuel that comeback?
So I think this is what is undervalued about her is that she's been in these moments so many times. And so she knows that it's easy, especially for a team like us, to kind of erase those leads. And she just wanted our younger players to kind of keep that momentum going and be positive. And sometimes that was an attribute to her, knowing that it's not about her in that moment, it's about the team. And so her trying to pick us up. And then that's all it was. I mean, this is where we are right now. We're 4-3, but we still can get a lot better. Like we'll be fine. Like we'll be fine. And I think it's good that we have her to help lead us as well as others.
I know you mentioned the bench played a big role, and I saw she was on the bench for a lot of the third quarter.
Yeah.
How much of an impact did she have with kind of leading that charge of a leadership effort on the bench, even though obviously she wasn't on the court during those points?
So I mean, every time we called a timeout, she was in, and she was just leading us with energy from the bench. So, and she wanted me to know that they were going to be ready when they got back in. And that's what it's all about. I think a lot of times we call timeouts, and so it's not just for the coaches to gather, but it's for the players to gather too. And you want them to be connected. So you want the communication going, and you want her leading in that charge. You want Stu leading in that charge. And so that's what we, because sometimes, I'm probably going to suck as a coach sometimes. And it's going to be on the players to kind of have my back and kind of pull us out of it. And, I think that's what they were trying to do. We just didn't have enough of it tonight.
Last couple, we'll go back to Annie.
How much have you guys practiced that full court press this year in practice?
Well, we practice with the guys, not a lot, but sometimes we try to get them up, and but that goes just with our sense of urgency. It was just a different sense of urgency at the end of the game that you wish would have been there earlier. We held them to, we held the best team in the world at 37% shooting, and that's amazing for us to do 20% from the 3-point line. And we gave them the free throws that they normally get, so there was nothing different there. But I thought we did a better job. We missed shots though. When it's a game that we shoot 16%, have 16 assists is probably not a game for us. So we're trying, guys. We're trying.
Last two, second row, and then we'll go through.
Hi, Coach. I'm just wondering if you interacted with Becky Hammond at all before or after the game, and what was said.
Of course. Becky told me, she's like, respect that. No, just like she said. No, she just asked me, how was I doing? She said it was a good game, and she asked me about my family. Her and my wife are really close. They played together for a number of years overseas and in San Antonio. And Becky's a nice, can't help but cheer for her when you're not playing against her. She's done some things for me that have been amazing. So I remember the first time, I'm gonna tell you a backstory. First time she bought this nice house, y'all. I probably shouldn't be saying this. She bought this nice house, and my wife was playing with her. And my family had, they have us in these apartments. My family came and for the weekend, and so they were going on a road trip. San Antonio's going on a road trip, and Becky called me. She was like, "Jenny, what you doing this weekend?" And I was like, "I'm just chilling. My family showing them around San Antonio." And she was like, "Well, here, y'all can stay at my house and just play in the pool and do whatever you want. And you can have the keys to my big truck." And so, she's been amazing. So I was like riding her big truck around like it was mine and living in her house. And I got a whole bunch of pictures in her house, and sending them to all my ex-girlfriends. Like, look, I'm living now, y'all. And she's always been a sweet person. So love her family. But I wasn't cheering for her today. So, Becky Hammond story.
How you doing, Coach? So you got the 31 3-pointers today. Do you feel like you got settled, or do you feel like that was just kind of a function of the offense against the switch heavy and versatile defense of the Aces?
Well, I thought they were open, man. I thought they were open. I thought Candace had some open threes. I thought Quigley had some open threes. I thought Kaka only took 3 threes, and she was 1 for 3. And so I think she was attacking when she was supposed to attack. Like, I don't think we shot shots that were bad shots. Would have liked for Emma to shoot it like naturally. I thought she hesitated because Emma's a smart player. She's trying to get the ball to move, but you want to get her in a situation where she's being more aggressive. So I thought those 5 31 threes came with an offense. So Las Vegas really hasn't changed a lot what they do defensively. They want you to shoot the ball, and they're going to sag off of you. But it's on us to kind of get those shots in the rhythm and just take them with confidence. So I think out of those 31 threes, I think maybe one of them I didn't like. That was the one that Dana brought up and shot it in transition. And now we're talking. Thanks for that. You brought it to me. I got to tell her about it. But that's probably the only one I didn't like. Other than that, the other 30, I was fine with it. But I have to tell Dana in a nice way because she's going to be like, well, I'm just not going to shoot him. We don't want to do that. We want to shoot. Just probably in the better flow.
And then my last question would be, so you guys are rhythm teams in terms of having the defense be your foundation and playing off of that in transition, you get into your half-court sets flow. Do you feel like the early struggles after that first few minutes kind of stagnated the offense, and then that in turn kind of led back to the defensive end, or was it just kind of one of those type of days for you guys?
No, I think that's a great question. Like, so what you're saying, we probably, like, the players are probably going to fight that. You know, you have to tell them, hey, we're a defensive team. We have to be a defensive team that turns our defense and offense. And right now, and it's typically like that in the beginning of the year. You're an offensive team because you're putting in all these sets, and you're trying to get them to understand all these sets. And so your main focus is offense. And so it's actually driving your defense. So if you're missing shots, they're kind of like, you know, whatever. They're going to miss an assignment defensively. Now, as we get toward June and July, you're going to see us buckle down a little bit defensively, and it's going to help us get layups. And so that's the thing that we really, really have to focus on is getting stops and getting out and get layups. And then you're going to see a lot of our shots fall, those rhythm threes that we're getting in offense because teams are overreacting to us getting layups. So we actually have to, I guess, step up defensively and do a better job so we can get into our offensive flow. I think this is maybe our worst shooting game, or our first shooting game that we've shot it this bad. But defensively, I don't think we did a bad job. I just felt like we could have been more disruptive in turning them over and some things like that.
All right, thanks, Coach.
That was a full session.
I'm good with something. Oh, you can go first.
No, you're done.
Go first.
Okay.
And you know you got privilege.
Leah, I mean, how are you adjusting to coming back to this team? It's what, like a week ago now? I mean, like how have things been just getting back in the flow of things?
Just being unselfish. You know, it's not about me. I think that our team knows that that's everybody's individual mindset. It's not about you. So I'm just coming back trying to do whatever I can for us to, get our chemistry, get whatever we need to get going to get wins. So like I said before, just coming back now, I'm surrounded by many great players, so I don't have to do a lot. I just got to go out there and make plays when I have to. But I'm just trying not to do too much. I'm trying to find my rhythm, and then at the end of the day, trying to get wins.
In a game like today where you should go 5 for 31 from three, I mean, that's a rare game. I mean, Alex Quigley's only had like one game where she shot less than 11% since 2019. I mean, do you take this as just like the ball wasn't going in today, or what did you take from what Vegas was throwing at you?
We got great shots. A lot of the shots were open shots. We just missed some of the shots in the first half. We were like confused, and then we're like, "Oh, I'm just gonna take it." But a lot of the shots in the second half, they just didn't go in. So I think for us, the adjustment is finding other ways to score, whether that's attacking offensive rebounds or trying to get to the free throw line. But we can't just sit out there and rely on trying to shoot threes, because if the shots don't go in, then what's the next thing we're gonna do?
The takeaway from this game, do you guys find any positive in holding the Aces to a low scoring night and keeping it within, or cutting it to 4 with under, I think, 2 minutes left in the game?
Yeah, I think we know we're never out of games. We're never out of games, but we know that we have to have that sense of urgency starting the games, and not just when our backs are against the wall. But yeah, I think our defense was solid. That was the goal, to hold them under their average. But we gotta put the ball in the basket also.
And then that sense of urgency that you've described and James has now described a few times, when it's not there, what's the issue? What's missing, and how do you guys find that?
I think we gotta get consecutive stops. Try to get easy baskets. We gotta get out in transition. We gotta move the ball and play like Chicago plays. That gives us the confidence. But I think that we have to just play like ourselves and, have this as a urgency from the beginning.
And then James talked about that second unit that came in the third that cut the Aces lead to 9. What do you like about that unit and the spark you guys were able to provide the team today?
I mean, we just came in and tried to play as hard as we could. I think that's a focus for the whole team. I think just in general, I don't like to be like at the first group, the second. I mean, we're all a team. So like Haas said, it's just like across the board, everybody has to bring energy every day. And just from the beginning, throughout the course of the game, we're going to have different lineups in, we're going to have different people, but the energy has to be consistent throughout the whole game.
James talked about earlier that Candace's energy and her leadership on the bench during the third quarter kind of meant a lot for him. And I was wondering for both of you what that kind of meant for you and what her leadership brings, not only on the court, but on the bench.
I think Candace has such experience, and she sees such good things in this team that she always has so much confidence. So I think that maybe it was the third, she was like reminding us consistently, like even when we were down maybe 18, she was like, we're never out of games. And I think that the group that was in, they took that confidence out there, and they got stops. They got stops and they got easy buckets, and then we on the bench continued to give them that energy that Candace started. And we went on a run, and they cut it. So I think that, Candace's experience and her leadership, it goes a long way. Even talking about in the championship run, she's been there. She has a blueprint. So she old, basically. So she knows. She's been through a lot. So she really helps us. Tell her our color.
For you first, with having experience, I know you said it's not a first group, second group type of thing, but is there a focus change? Are you looking as a focal point or a pivot point for the offense, defense when you were in there in the third quarter with the rest of the team?
With
Lee, with Ruthie,
Oh.
like were you trying to get everybody going like on the floor, like just be the focal point for the offense, defense?
Yeah, I mean, every time I play, like I just try to make my teammates better in any way that I can. I know sometimes it's like, oh, how do you feel not starting? Or I've been in this situation before. When I played at Connecticut, I came off the bench for most of the season that I played there, and it helps me for this type of situation. I just try to bring the same energy every time I come on the court and try to make my teammates better. And sometimes that's scoring, sometimes it's rebounding, sometimes it's really bringing effort on that. I try to bring defense all the time, whether I'm scoring or not. And I just try to do anything I can to lift up whoever I'm on the court with. So with the second group, I mean, sometimes I do score a little bit more, but I don't want it to be like I just take all the shots, you know, like I try to just make my teammates better in whatever ways they need that to be.
And then for both of you, could you talk about Lee's impact? It was tangible, but it was really in when she got in, and she was making plays. Could you talk about just her impact on the team as long as she's been here, and then in the game today?
Lee is super sweet. You know, she just adds to our culture. She's just here. She's trying to learn. You know, she's still getting her foot in the door, but she's going to be a really valuable piece for our team when she gets herself going. Once we be able to get her in a rhythm and be able to find her, but I think she's another piece that just adds to our culture and just adds to more greatness.
More questions for the players? Third row.
Okay, so coming into the last season, you talked about how the coaching experience you had in the summer or coming into that season added to your leadership. So after your victory, you have overseas and you coming back home. Talk about what intangibles you may have learned or picked up on as a leader coming into this season, what you can bring to this team.
I just think coming back, you know, it's about being consistent. Being consistent and doing the little things consistently every single day. I think with being a leader, you have to hold other people accountable, but you also have to hold yourself accountable. You know, before I'm telling other people to do whatever it is that they need to do, I need to make sure that consistently I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. And I think as far as being a leader, just knowing your teammates, knowing how people respond to different things, knowing how to talk to different people in different situations. It's hard sometimes. You know, sometimes it's heat in the moment, but I think it's important to get the best out of every single person is that you are able to communicate effectively with people differently.
And for Zeke, so talk about how different it is when you're on the court spending time with Emma versus when you spend the time with Candace, and just the different dynamic that you have with both of those two, because you guys have some of the most versatility as a trio across the league in the front court.
It's different, but I mean, we're all pretty versatile. Like, we're all two-way players in terms of, like, we can play the 3, the 4, and the 5. And so, I don't know, it's not that much of a difference. It's more of just kind of reading and reacting off of either one of them. Whatever they want to do, I'll do the other thing. You know, if we're doing roll and rise and Candace wants to pop, I'll roll, you know, or if Emma wants to roll, I'll rise, you know. It's more of just a read thing. And I think we communicate about that, but once we get to a point where we can just read in the game, I think that would be like the next level for us, is just whatever the other coach is doing, the other one's just reading. And then, I mean, the defense, what are they going to do? Like, there's really no answer for that. So.
For Zeke, you recorded your 100th career block this game, so can you just talk about how that feels getting a block in this building where you kind of have like a legendary block against DePaul in this same building 5 years ago?
I had a legendary block against DePaul. I don't even remember that. I think it was great. I mean, I take a lot of pride in defense, honestly. I was challenged a lot when I was at Connecticut for that, and I really had to like focus in on just being a good defender. And I think coming into this league, I've been really challenged in my whole career so far, but especially last year, you know, the playoffs, just having to guard a lot of different matchups, and some where I didn't even feel really confident enough in guarding them. BG, Donquel, like I've just had to guard some of the really, really most talented players in the league, and I love it. It's a fun challenge. It's great being able to play against players that I feel like are super versatile or stronger than me, because it helps me to think the game a little bit more and be smarter. So it just feels great, and yeah, I love playing in front of the fans. I know that they're always bringing a lot of energy and stuff, so it's fun to just keep doing great things in front of them.
Thank you.
Did you have one more?
Really quickly.
Oh, sorry. No, go ahead.
Rebecca had a really productive night today. So what can you say about what she brought to you guys today and just the beginning of the season?
Just her energy, she's come in and she's learning a lot of new things. And every day she just brings good energy. She's kind of quiet and just does what she's supposed to do, and it's not a lot of extra. It's just she just comes in and works. And it's really nice to have that added to the team and to the energy that we have.
Thank you guys.